the truth.
Welcome everybody to the Audio Theory Podcast with your host Blair, aka Superfly, aka Chemic. Got my boy Danny on the other end. I'll let you introduce yourself.
What's good? This is Danny Abar, also known as Daybar is Open. Solo host of the Absolutely Fucking Not podcast, but super thankful to be doing this joint venture with my man Blair.
Absolutely. And to give you guys a background on who we are, starting off with myself, I basically used to rap back in the day. Well, in college, really.
Was Chemic your rap name?
Yeah, Chemic was my rap name.
This is me. I didn't know this. This is we're finding together.
Yeah, I'll explain to you and the viewers and listeners. So basically, I think my freshman year is when I started, and I was just really bored. I had a MacBook for college, and I was using GarageBand to like make super ghetto beats, and decided to. I actually rapped other people's lyrics over beats just to see what it sounded like.
Sure.
And then over time, obviously, I had to get original. So I DJ'd for my fraternity throughout those 4 years, but also rapped. Chose Chemic because I basically felt like the process of making music was similar to chemistry. Alchemist is one of my idols. He obviously makes beats and is a legend in the industry. So I kind of took a spin on that with the name. At that time, I think like all of the rappers who came out were sticking to names that started with Lil and Young, like Young Jock, Lil Wayne, blah blah. And I wanted to stay as far away as possible from that, so I chose. Thinking back now, I probably would have changed it and stuck with something simple like Blair or whatever. But that's how it started. And my claim to fame is my friend and I were super big fans of Wiz Khalifa before he created Black and Yellow and all that stuff. I think he only cost a whopping like $1,000 to book. His rider was super simple.
$900 was for weed.
Yeah, basically. But he got pissed off at the quality of it. I still have the tweet, and I can show that in the video at least.
Nice.
But he clowns the weed that we provided, which is unfortunate. But we did what we could. It wasn't my fault. We were in the middle of New Hampshire, so like, I mean, the weed can only be so good in that city. But long story short, I opened for him, and it was a dope experience. It was kind of screwed up because the morning of, my friend and I had to go pick him up from Boston Airport, which is like 2 hours from the school. But not only did his flight land like 40 minutes early, we were like 30 minutes late. So he sat there for like an hour. And I was just like sweating. I'm like, this dude probably hates us. It's gonna be like the most awkward ride ever, which it was. Like he just passed out and like didn't say a word. Not really, no. Like I had everything ready. I had like 7 joints rolled. He didn't want any of it. I was like playing his music and stuff, trying to like hopefully ask him questions about his mixtapes and whatnot, but he just passed out. But he was a cool dude in the end. I think he was just tired and frustrated. But that was a dope experience. I opened up for another concert that we had in my senior year. That was Big Crit, Immortal Technique, and Talib Kweli.
Oh shit! All right.
Yeah, it was a dope experience. Just basically performing for the only 2 times I really performed in front of a crowd were for artists that I respected highly. So that was probably the highlight of my music career at that point. But what I really enjoyed the most was making beats, just because I got to like zone out and I don't know, it's just an experience you can't really recreate with a lot of other activities, because you're kind of just in your room putting sounds together. You can space out from the rest of the world, and like when it does work out, like it's a really rewarding experience, just hearing all these simple sounds in its entirety make a soundtrack to whatever it is. So like here and there I would make beats and send them to people who needed them for whatever it was. But with this podcast, I think over time I realized, I mean, the music industry is dope, but I don't always see myself as wanting to be about that artist life, touring, and like just being at the forefront of every single thing music related. So with this podcast, I thought it would be a dope opportunity to still feel that passion for music without necessarily having the pressure of making stuff that the public can enjoy, artistically speaking. And I think this just allows us to remove ourselves from that and just focus on what keeps us happy without making stuff that is subjectively appealing and whatnot. So I think that encapsulates like all the stuff that I had gone through within the music industry and why I decided to start this thing.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, my background, just being born in the Bronx, they say like Bronx is the mecca of hip hop. So like every day, either there's hanging out my grandmother's apartment stoops or getting a haircut or playing basketball. Like just hip hop was a constant soundtrack, like all our lives growing up, right? So like if we weren't talking about one thing, we were talking about something else. I remember like, so I'm Dominican, and like the conversation always was, this was like when Fabulous was really like fucking the man, right? Before he beat up his girlfriend and was like FABL, like when he was the man, like the biggest like conversation was like, yo, I'm pretty sure he's Dominican. Because it's like what we did like back in the day was like when anyone was popping, we're like, yo, I guarantee you he's Dominican somehow. Because like, yo, you're trying to fucking claim him and shit. Right. But yeah, dude, it was just growing up around it. Was always the soundtrack to my life. Whenever I was going through some shit like amazing or depressing or in between, like, what can I bump right now to fucking get me through this mood? Always been a concert goer. I'll fucking go to concerts by myself. Like I just go online. Oh, this guy's in town. Anyone wants to go? No? All right, I'm gonna go by myself. And then when I moved to Miami, a couple years ago, like when I moved back to Miami, I just became friends with local DJs, man. And it was just like, it's been fucking great to be around that. Like, you fucking, like, from DJing yourself, man, the fucking DJ at these clubs and lounges is like the king, right? Because it's dude, like, you can tell the good ones from the bad ones real quick. Like,
right,
the good one could be playing the same song the bad one played, and yet the crowd is reacting completely different from the way he's setting it up and leading up to like that certain track. So like, again, I've always admired that, always critiqued it in my own mind, like, yo, damn, like I know what's good and what's bad, and I can get an idea of what the people are looking for. So, and again, we've been Blair and myself have been going to festivals now together for almost 2.5 years, and we just had a collective love for music. So we were in Coachella 5 months ago. We were just like, yep. Bro, like, I have a bit of experience now from my own podcast. Absolutely fucking not. I'm just, sitting down and doing this, and Blair's been trying to do this for a while. So it's like, bro, like, we got some time on our hands. We're only young ones. Let's fucking knock this out. So, here we are trying to be the culture curators that you deserve on the Audio Theory podcast.
Absolutely. And stay tuned. We're going to try to do this at a minimum once a week, but you'll be getting content throughout. So, yep. Don't worry about not having enough to tune into.
Love it, man. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to the episode 1. We're going to jump into that right now.
So I guess to start off, we wanted to get into festival culture, our experiences and the difference that people experience in those environments, whether it's Rolling Loud, Coachella. Those are the only 2 I've really been to, other than those random like one-off BET experience concerts.
Right.
But I know you in Miami, you been to all these like random smaller venue type festivals.
Yeah, dude. So like,
it's
I mean, being in Miami, I mean, I tell my boy all the time, we're just spoiled down here because, like, I mean, we have like the best DJs, I think, personally. I mean, you witnessed that firsthand. It was just like an off night at one of my favorite spots. Like, we have Just Blaze come through and just DJ a random fucking club on a Wednesday. I go to a club down in Miami, which I took you, Koyo, which is actually not a club, a taco shop that has speakeasy in the back. And I can go see Major Lazer or parts of the Major Lazer crew DJ every Tuesday for free, right? So we're just spoiled, right? Because if you're in LA or Miami or New York, you're probably paying at least like a cover charge, and you're never gonna get that close to like the actual performer. So Super spoiled in Florida. Well, Miami, obviously. Orlando kind of sucks, but in Miami, things are pretty good. But dude, if we even rewind, like, so I guess like most people probably won't understand, like you said, you were my friend's boyfriend, right? So most times, like, I know me personally, like, my girlfriend has a guy friend who A, is not gay or doesn't have a girlfriend himself. I'm like, off the bat, I'm like, I don't really like him already. So like, how did that? When Sarah told you, hey, my friend Danny's gonna stop by and he's gonna go to the festival with us, like, how was your initial feel? I've never asked you this before, so
Well, I think so I was that type of dude in college so often that, like, I think I just like pissed away that energy, basically, because I just got so sick of being the jealous dude. And also, like, Miami and California aren't close, so like, it's one thing if you were some dude who had been kicking it with their, like, every weekend in LA, like, without me or something. And also it was like a festival, so I was like, the more the merrier. I think none of her friends were trying to go, or at least not for each day. And I was like, I mean, it's cool kicking it alone, but like, I think in those environments, having a big group and that positive energy just makes the experience better. So I was like, I just went in with the open mind. It was like, whatever goes down, goes down. Obviously worked out for the better. It was a dope experience.
Dude, super dope. And we probably ended up being closer than me and Sarah ever were in college. So I know I don't know if she's a fan of that part of it, but I mean, it still kind of worked out for everybody. So I still text Sarah from time to time just to, gossip. But besides that, obviously,
about you know who too?
The wave, bro, the wave. If you know, you know. But yeah, man, living in South Florida has been great. I mean, it's from a concert festival perspective. Like, I remember, man, it was like so I met you in 2017. I'm pretty sure we saw did we see Post Malone? Post Malone wasn't at the original Rolling Loud, right? He was.
No, he was. But he was fucking like 3 miles away from where we were standing.
Okay.
He was talking about Bud Light. His show. I mean, it's hard. It's really difficult to compare the experiences because he has the same exact. I mean, I'm sure it's different now, but his set was like identical throughout the other.
Dude, I remember like I was like, yo, if he plays, I went through a breakup when we went like to that show, and I was like, yo, if he plays I Fall Apart, I'm gonna be like.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So I remember that. So man, he wasn't what he is now, right? And then, dude, so fast forward like 3 months later, I saw him in the most intimate bar in like Fort Lauderdale for like $15 entry. And like the dude was like 5 feet away from me. I was like, dude, this
was after or before?
After Rolling Loud.
Oh, after.
So he just dropped Rockstar, and Rockstar was like the #1 song in the country, like literally the #1 song on the Billboard. And I was fucking 5 feet away from him, and he did his entire fucking like first album and Rockstar. And I was just like, bro, this is not happening anywhere in New York. I don't care what hippie part of Brooklyn they created. Like that shit's not happening. You know what I mean? So that's the thing about South Florida I love so much. So yeah, I go to the venue is called Revolution Live. I saw Black there. Yeah, dude, it's just like I'm just lucky enough to have a lot of people come through, because obviously Fort Lauderdale, Miami's always a destination on most people's tour. Man.
That's dope. Who else did we see? Oh, Travis was dope, man. That was the first time that I really ever gave. Obviously, I thought Birds in the Trap was a fucking phenomenal album. That's why I wanted to see him, but. That was the first time we had the issue. I feel like not our biggest issue with Rolling Loud, and obviously this is episode 1 of Audio Theory is going to be about, festival talk. I love Rolling Loud, the first one we went to Miami 2017, but like the sound quality from stage to stage, wasn't what I felt like it should have been. Because I think we were so hyped about seeing Travis that we were like, yo, this is fucking great. But if you look back and hear what we heard, it's like, bro, this is awful. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't know if it's like, if he just has so many effects on his voice that like the shit's just so distorted by the time the sound waves fly out to the crowd or what? Because like, I
Go
do
ahead.
agree, but I couldn't tell if it was because we were so far away or what.
Dude, but remember there was like the whole confusion with the Migos and like the stages, and people started running from one stage to the other. Yeah, I just feel because like they had Travis and Future closing at the same time on separate stages, that they just like, yo, let's just get this shit over with and go home. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think because we saw him again at the next Rolling Loud. I saw him at the Astroworld concert, and he sounded amazing. So that was my first issue with Rolling Loud 2017 in Miami, because I was just like, bro, like, this sounds awful. But some people sounded good. And I kind of, in hindsight, bro, because we both became even bigger Mac Miller fans when he dropped his last album, before he passed away. But he was there, and we didn't really, I guess, like, I don't know. I just didn't go mentally prepared for a Mac Miller set. Remember, we were there for his set for his Divine album, and I was just like, it's all right. And now looking back at it, it was probably fucking phenomenal. We were just fucking not prepared for it.
Yeah, I had seen him at now that I think about it, I did go to a different festival. It's the Tyler the Creator one that he like curates.
Camp
Flogna, yeah. So that's the first time I went there. I saw Mac Miller perform, and it was amazing. He did that one album. What was it, Good AM or something?
Yep.
Yeah, that album was crazy, as was the performance. I never really got into the Divine one, so I think that's probably why I kind of ignored it.
But it was so, like, you listen to it now, it's so good, and you could tell how like far ahead of his time he was.
Yeah.
But just like, I don't know if that kind of album translates to festival.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like everyone's just waiting for the drop, right, to build up, and you're like, oh, it's coming. Right.
Like, he didn't do Donald Trump or anything like that, huh?
Nah, dude, he only did like 5 cuts from that album and just like dipped.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, dude, that was a dope festival. So we did that together. That was our first like interaction. Like, all right, cool. Like, me and this dude are super, like, we're similar interests. We kept liking the same fucking artists. Like, there was never like any one artist I was like, nah, I don't really want to see him, and vice versa,
Or at least we were open to it. But I think Post Malone was the link.
Mm-hmm.
I actually didn't like him that much back in the day. Well, I won't say I didn't like him, but I didn't. I assumed he was like a one-hit wonder, like mumble rapper dude or something.
Facts, bro. When I heard White Iverson, like, I didn't listen to the album Stoney for like another 4 months after. And then when I heard the album, I was like, holy shit, this dude is super talented.
Yeah.
But dude, so that overall experience at Rolling Loud, like, how was that for you, man? Because that was my first. Well, I take that back. That was my first hip hop festival. So growing up in Miami, so obviously you guys heard in the intro, like, I'm from New York, but I went to school at University of Miami. That's how I met Sarah, Blair's girlfriend, Sarah. So when I was at UM, they had this festival called Ultra, and Ultra's like a more EDM, whatever popular culture festival is, for 3 days straight. I was actually at the same venue they had Rolling Loud at in 2017, so I'm used to that. But I mean, EDM festival is different, right? It's a bunch of like younger adults, weird ass clothing, fucking, you can see they're popping pills the second they walk in. Like, it's a very different vibe. So Rolling Loud was my very first hip hop festival. So how was that for you when you got there?
It was dope. I think my experience was a little different because it was Miami. And I had been to Miami, but I hadn't like kicked it like that in the open with like crowds of people,
right? Yeah.
And I think that vibe was just like brand new. And then also I had never been to a lineup that crazy. I was shocked the tickets were only like 200 or whatever it was. Had never heard of the festival. I think it did exist before that, but the lineups weren't as crazy. Like Action Bronson was like the main headliner or something at one from like 2014 or something.
Dude, and shout out to Action Bronson, the most underappreciated rapper of all time.
That was like the highlight, at least for that day, because we were like basically almost front row.
Dude, we could have given him a high five, and it was like, yo, why is no one near us? Like, do they not understand like what's happening? Like, this dude is so good. Like, why is he not? But it probably goes back to our whole Mac Miller thing, bro. It's like some artists just maybe don't translate well to the festival, setup.
Yeah, but the lineup was obviously insane. Being in Miami helped because it was like actually warm. I think the problem with a lot of these festivals is people expect to dress down, especially the girls, but then come like 8 o'clock, the shit's like 20 degrees, and then everyone's just fucking dying.
Yeah.
So even for me, like, I want to be comfortable during the day, so I'll usually wear like a tank top or something like that.
Right.
But then come like 9 o'clock, like I can't even focus because it's so goddamn cold. But I think the weather definitely helped, and nothing closes early, so I think that's where Koyo came clutch, because like usually you go to these things in like LA and come like 1 o'clock, there's nothing to do. I mean, I guess you could go to a house party, but then you gotta find somebody who's actually hosting it. Or do it yourself. It's just too much.
And you already spent $400 on day one at the festival trying to get a drink, so.
Right. Yeah. So it's just out of control.
But how did you think overall? So obviously the setup was stupid. I agree. The reason what Rolling Loud caught my eye, because I was like, yo, what do you mean you're gonna have 3 different days of just nonstop, like after 3 p.m. it's just like banger, 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 banger.
Yeah.
So that caught my eye at first, but when I got to Rolling Loud, so 2017, I was 28 years old, and you were what, 27?
Something like that.
Yo.
Yeah, 27.
So the biggest thing that caught me off guard was just like, yo, I am by far one of the oldest people here.
Yeah.
And I was
and
like,
tallest.
I mean, that's everything.
Yeah.
That could have been
but
10
these
years
fools
ago.
were like 5 feet tall.
Right. Because I was like, yo, like, what the fuck? Like,
average age,
I didn't expect that. You know what I mean? That, I don't know if we can get into that. What do you think about like what's an ideal fucking crowd for someone our age that you want to be around, bro? Because like sometimes like I don't mind it because like these kids aren't bothering me, but it's just like, damn, like I'm really fucking out here raging with a bunch of like 17-year-olds.
I'd say at least 23, just because they're probably out of college. They're not trying to like show out and get all extra crazy. But like the 16 to 20, I think that crowd, like, they just can't handle their alcohol. They want to fight everybody for no reason.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Then like,
and like, the thing is, like,
people who are like in the mosh pits too. It's like, yo, I'm not really trying to like hit a kid.
And get sued for like
$3
million that you don't have.
Right. And then like these kids are like asking you for, like, I'm pretty sure that happened to you. Like a kid like, hey, I'll give you a cigarette if you go buy me a drink, and it's just like, bro, like, I'm not trying to get you drunk. Like, I don't know you.
Oh yeah, dude wanted me to get him a beer.
And he'll pay you or give you some money.
And, no, he wanted me to get him a beer and didn't offer. I mean, I didn't get it for him, but like at least offer money or some shit, like for me risking my freedom.
Yeah, dude, that was like probably the only thing, not the only, but again, I thought this festival was great. Again, that was it was so great we did the following summer, so obviously we enjoyed it. But that was probably the top 2 things I didn't love about Rolling Loud. It was just like, yo, the crowd was so young, man. And then, again, as a single dude at the time, obviously you go to a festival, you're trying to fucking, if you're single, you want to be around other single people of age. Right. God forbid I talk to the wrong girl who's 16, and I'm just like, I'm not trying to feel disgusting, one, and then obviously catch a case, too. So like,
yeah, that's the issue.
And then what's crazy is that these kids, I mean, I don't want to say this is the beginning of the hype culture, because I feel like that's just been around, if you think about it, in some kind of way or form forever. But dude, like, these kids are fucking coming in stunting, like the most expensive Yeezys, the most expensive, restocks of whatever Jordan sneakers hot at the time, Off-White, everything, Dior. It's like, bro, how do you have this? Like,
they're either stupid or they're fake, because I think it was the first, I don't know what shoes I wore the first time, but they got so fucked up, I was like, I'm never dressing remotely fancy for this shit ever again.
Right, man. Like, that was my thing. I'm like, yo, we're legit gonna be in grass that's gonna get slightly destroyed by 1,000 people all over it all day long. So your feet are gonna be disgusting. So like, why are you just disrespecting your sneakers like that?
It's crazy. For the gram. Maybe they are real and they just want to stunt for the gram, which is stupid because nobody's taking pictures of the grass. But Oh wow.
Yeah, but I thought Rolling Loud was great, and then obviously we had our experience in Coachella, which honestly just came out of nowhere because I was going, because I bought those fucking tickets the shit they dropped, because Coachella's always been like a fucking on my vision board, like as a kid, like I want to just go, because obviously like our parents had like Woodstock growing up, like that was like the festival, like I guess everyone did that, so I feel like for our generation it's like Coachella. So like for the past like 5 years, I'm like, yeah, if I can get a fucking opportunity to go, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And so I went, and then I was meant to go with my boy, and then he backed out, and then I was like, bro, I'm not trying to do this shit alone. Who the fuck's in LA that can come through for me? And then boom, 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 my dude Blair stepped up to the fucking plate, and it was fucking
I'm surprised
great.
I did. I honestly, like, I've avoided going to Coachella. Anytime somebody had asked me, and this started probably in like 2013, I've said no. I think one of the major deterrents was that you don't find out the lineup until after you paid, right?
Correct.
And then I guess you could still buy a ticket from someone who's reselling it. But for me, the lineup never seemed that appealing to me, especially ever since Rolling Loud. Once we went to the first Rolling Loud, I was like, they'll never compete with this lineup because I like hip hop and Rolling Loud has like 100 artists,
Right.
the ones that I would want to see. So in my mind, I was like, the value just didn't add up. And then I was like, you know what? Like, I feel like this is fate. The pricing works out, the timing works out, and I wanted to scratch it off my bucket list. So I was just like, whatever, let's do it. How bad could it be?
And then, dude, but it honestly worked out again. Like that, like the lineup was stupid, right? From like the beginning, from day one, it was like, all right, we're gonna go see these 5 people. We're gonna have a fucking great time. We're gonna be in a safe environment. But yeah, I know the lineup was crazy. Like just like from the jump, there was never like any moment I was like, damn, like what are we even watching this for?
Right. No, it was sick.
And I think the benefit we had with Coachella, like unlike Rolling Loud, was at least the first was just 2 stages, and the second one we went to was 3 stages. But dude, there's like 17 different spots that are has like performance happening.
Space, plenty of space. Like I never felt claustrophobic or just hot, and which is crazy because it's in the desert.
Right.
But yeah, like just the venue itself, they optimized the hell out of it. I mean, they've been doing it for however many years, but still, it's crazy.
They mastered that shit. They mastered that, man. So I would say, so let's just compare before we go into like everything music-wise, but like just how would you compare like how you felt like safety-wise, Rolling Loud Miami to Coachella 2019?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, at all these things, I never feel unsafe just because they all have security and everything. But I think Rolling Loud was the only environment where I was like, I might have to rumble if like some dude's just too drunk for no reason. Whereas Coachella, I'm like, everyone's way too faded or like in a whole nother dimension to even get angry in the first place. I think at Coachella, fighting was literally like the last thing on my mind. It wasn't even on my mind, period.
Yeah,
it's never on my mind, but like,
or like me texting someone and fighting with them, but like not actually.
Right. Plus the crowd is a lot older, so like I feel like we relate to them on that note, regardless.
Right.
Whereas like younger dudes might try to, I don't know, be the alpha male and like slap you for no reason just because smoke perps, banging some crazy new track or whatever. Yeah,
we
Coachella.
Obviously, we both skipped Rolling Loud 2019, but thankfully so, because there was like there were a couple shootings and like in the streets of Miami, like right after.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, thankfully we did not go to this one.
Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna go to next year because of that shit.
Right.
But dude, I would just say, once I was in the festival grounds at both locations, I felt safe. But the leaving, bro, if you remember the way they didn't have that set up well at Rolling Loud 2017.
Oh yeah.
Like, we left, and dude, it just reminded me of like some like zombie movie where we're like just massive people hurting, and I'm like, bro,
and they have those big ass like metal gates, like all along the way.
Right. It's like, bro, like we're not fucking prisoners, bro. Like let us just fucking like leave at our will. Like why is it like the gates only leave at? So I'm like, dude, I want to leave now. Like let me just fucking go.
Right. I don't know. You would never think that would be an issue. But Coachella, it was like we did it in 5 minutes. I felt like.
Facts, bro. Coachella, there was just so much space. Obviously, at festivals, it's a thing people do. Not saying either of us did it, but people are taking different supplements. And like, bro, at least in Coachella, they were like feeding us water. They were like, bro, there is never gonna be an excuse for anyone here to die.
Right? They don't want any lawsuits, nothing.
And respect. Whereas Rolling Loud was like, bro, you're lucky to be here. Just figure out your shit on your own. And then honestly, I thought Coachella's overall setup for people just to chill was dope. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it's more of like Coachella's like more of like an experience, dude.
Right.
Whereas I feel like Rolling Loud is more like you're just witnessing multiple concerts happen back to back to back to back to back.
You're just on the whole time.
Right.
And it's kind of exhausting.
Yeah, because you're going from stage to stage. As Coachella, we would go stage, let's go have a drink, let's go on the Ferris wheel, let's go into this area, let's go check out this art, exhibit, like, and then let's go watch somebody else DJ for like 25 minutes an hour. You know what I mean? I feel it was more of like an experience to just be there.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I would personally, if I had an option to do either or again, I know obviously Rolling Loud is easier for me, but I would probably do Coachella again, to be honest. Just
for sure.
But how'd you feel about obviously you already mentioned the people. I think it was easier for us to relate to more people at Coachella just because it's just not cheap, right? So obviously you're paying, it's younger adults who actually can afford this shit are out there. But dude, how do you feel about pricing wise, man? Because the biggest thing about these festivals, like, yo, you fucking go broke most times if you don't do this shit right. So how do you think we did? Let the people know how we did at Coachella to fucking still have time to, go out on Monday and I had money for the rest of my California trip.
Yeah. Well, first off, we lucked out big time on the Airbnb.
Huge.
So
huge luck out.
I mean, obviously, for the viewers, like, we were thinking about camping out just to have a more authentic experience, but I forget what happened. They basically sold out by the time we were about to buy it.
Yep. Once, which we need to get into when we compare lineups, but once they announced that Kanye was performing, that shit was done.
Yeah. It was, once Kanye announced that, it was over, and we could have gone to different campgrounds, but like, I think we would have ended up paying just as much as a hotel, or it would have been just way too inconvenient. And I don't think we were about that life at that point. But luckily I was on a work trip and just browsing at Airbnbs, and I had to refresh my screen like 7 times because I couldn't believe that this property still existed. It was like, I don't even know, but we were there for 2 nights, and I think it was like $150 a night tops, which is unheard of. Like, people are lucky to get something for like $500 a night. But then again, like, most people are buying houses with like 17 bedrooms and shit, so that's probably why. I feel like most people don't go with like only 2 or 3 people. It's usually like 8.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, we lucked out. But then we also lucked out if the lady had 2 rooms and the other person canceled. Oh, yeah. It's like, no, we literally had an entire part of this family's home to ourselves. Like,
right. And they had a dope pool that we never used. But it was insanely convenient because we're only a few blocks from a shuttle drop off. We got a bus pass for like $50. Didn't have to worry about Ubers, none of that. So that all worked out. So if you do go to Coachella, make sure you get a bus pass, or you got to find somebody on Craigslist to drive you back and forth, like a private driver. Yeah, because
even though we were close to the festival grounds, like, driving would have been the biggest mistake any day. You know what I mean? Like, bro, we were on stuff, we were drinking, we were exhausted. And bro, if we had to wake up Saturday or Sunday for Sunday service, you probably would have missed it, right? I mean, we'd be like, I'm not trying to drive right now, man. But And really, we lucked out because we walked back and forth from the shuttle bus to the hotel, or the Airbnb a couple times.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It
I
was a
remember
mile,
that now.
but it wasn't like, it's like, bro, you want to walk? Yeah, let's walk.
Right. We had the energy, so it made sense.
But yeah, even at the ground, though, I feel like we did a good job with money, too, though. Like, I feel you obviously, if you want to do festivals, guys, you got to fucking pregame accordingly.
Yeah. And don't get sloppy.
Right.
Pregame right.
But enough that you're walking into the festival like on a tipsy buzz already, that like, you know what, I don't have to go spend $20 for a beer, or I don't need a drink right away. And then somebody needs to have the roadie plastic flask. That's a must. You gotta have at least 2 that can last you like 6 hours. And then make sure you eat before you get there, so that way you're only needing to get like 1 meal when you get there.
Right.
Because I feel like we did well. Like, yo, we did, like, we only had we had pizza every time, but it was just like once, every day.
That filled us up. And we had I think protein bars for breakfast basically.
Yep.
Dinner too, I think. Yeah, like with all that drinking and stuff, like. Also, we were so hyped and focused on the concerts. I don't think we thought about food that much, except for that one meal.
Right.
The personal pizza.
I would honestly say, like, dude, I don't think we ever had an official budget, but like the money I expected to spend at Coachella to what I actually spent was
it was a lot. Yeah, for sure.
I was like, bro, I'm ready to go broke because it's a bucket list for me. But I was like, yo, we just spent $40 the whole day. What? Like, I didn't expect it to be that cheap.
I know. And I only brought 1 card specifically because I knew like if I had 3, I was gonna be fucking buying shit on like 7 different cards and not realize it's all adding up.
All right, so food-wise, we're giving money-wise, we're giving the nod to Coachella. I think safety-wise is probably like a toss-up. But let's just go overall music experience, man. Like, how do you feel like Rolling Loud, our experience of Rolling Loud compared to our musical experience at Coachella?
Again, I think I'll probably be a little biased, or just based on the fact that Rolling Loud was the first real experience where I was at a festival like that with like 100 different artists. Again, I think from a musical standpoint, the qualities where Rolling Loud fell short, because we were like climbing trees and shit just to even see the show. Like,
and we saw Kendrick Lamar when he dropped "Damn." We were like damn near like a mile away from him.
Yeah. I mean, it was still dope to be like, oh, I saw Kendrick, and then I saw Gucci Mane and Migos, all these different artists that have completely different musical styles. But I think just the energy made it a little difficult, because a lot of those songs that were played weren't like they were just club bangers, and you don't really have to like put in too much energy into a lot of those tracks. So it's just a lot of screaming and like distorted bass and like fucking beers and waters flying everywhere.
Right.
So the energy's dope, but like musically, like you don't really walk away with anything that makes you say like, damn, like I have to see this artist right away. There's only a handful of artists out of the 200 or whatever they handpicked that really make the experience like something to talk about.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to give the nod again. I know this is like, I just wanted to be at Coachella for so long, but I'm gonna have to give the nod to Coachella when it comes to overall music experience. Although I will say, rest in peace to XXXTentacion. That was super cool. In hindsight, we didn't know it was going to be the case, but that we saw one of his last ever sets. Because he wasn't even on the list because he was on probation, and he just came out for like a 35-minute set at Rolling Loud 2018. So that was super dope. But you and I have pretty similar taste in music when it comes to like the more like eccentric artists. Like we both love Jaden Smith. Seeing him, because we saw him. That's a cool. Just focusing on him alone, he's a good reference point because we saw him at Rolling Loud and at Coachella. At Rolling Loud, they only gave him like a fucking 20-minute set. Yeah. At Coachella, he's damn there on stage for an hour.
Yeah.
Like, so that alone was like, yo, sold. And then the fact that we saw Cudi, and that Cudi did an entire Kids See Go set with Kanye for the first 40 minutes that no one thought was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Dude, that was fucking nuts. Like that was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And then the whole like YG set was great because he had like a whole Nipsey thing. Fucking and dude, the fact that you and I, who aren't celebrities just yet, hopefully this shit works out and we are in a year's time. Dude, the fact that we were fucking 100 feet away from the entire Sunday service set was
insane. I thought that it was gonna be like 4 miles away or something when we were all standing around the thing, or like Houston Beat up on a plane or something. I was like, there's no way we're this close to Kanye and there's not like fucking the
Cops.
Marines like watching us or something.
Bro, we were that close, man. Even when you went to like get food and get merch, the church merch, you can still see it. Like, yo, they set that shit up perfectly, yo. Like that whole mountain, like that was phenomenal, bro. We were only on like 3 hours of sleep. And dude, the second they started Sunday service, we both were like,
oh, bro, I felt like the Holy Ghost just consumed us.
Yo, I was like, yo, I could take on the world right now. Like, yo, that was crazy. And then like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I just feel like Coachella just had, I guess because we were very selective. Dude, at Coachella, again, there's 15 different stages. We were very selective on who we saw because we had the ability to do that. Whereas Rolling Loud is just like 2 or 3 stages. It's like, it is what it is. So I don't know if it was like that we got more build up and hype about like going to see someone at Coachella. Because obviously if you see one person, you're giving up seeing so many other people at the same time.
Right.
But bro, like that shit just, even when we saw J Balvin, that was fucking a movie. Right. And then dude, with like no bullshit, like I've never heard that fucking Korean pop group in my life. But that shit,
I was just about to
great.
Say, yeah.
Like that shit was fucking
whoever produces
great.
the beats. I heard I don't know if you told me this, but like all their tracks are produced, or all the K-pop tracks are produced by like some random Swedish dudes or something.
Oh really?
I guess they all go to the same like 3 ones. But again, I think the best part about Coachella is you get exposed to artists you probably would never pay money to see in the first place.
100%. Yeah, I probably wouldn't go to a J Balvin concert even though like I'm Hispanic and I'm a fan, but like damn, he's fucking here and he's with Bad Bunny and they're fucking doing 2 days in like I probably wouldn't go to a Pusha T concert, but he's there. All right, let's check him out.
Right.
So I would say overall those 2 experiences have been like phenomenal, and we're fucking both super spoiled to say we've done both of them, and we've done a couple of them multiple times. Dude, are there any other festivals on your radar that you're trying to like knock off your bucket list before you have, kids and a wife and you can't really be out here and about?
I mean, none come to mind other than I guess the OVO one. I don't know too much about it, so you would have to explain like what the roster is like. But I still have to see Drake live. I think that's
same.
I've seen Kendrick like 100 times, but no. Chris Brown I'm going to see in the fall, so he's like one of the mega stars that I have yet to like really see perform. Once I see Drake, then like my bucket list will basically be complete for now, at least.
Yeah, dude, I'm the same way. I've only seen Drake when Travis Scott brought him out for Sicko Mode at the Astroworld concert, but that was like a fucking 2-minute set.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, I think we should definitely do OVO in the summer next year for 2020. It's in Toronto in August. Dude, I don't know much about it either besides it's just fucking run by Drake, and it's like almost like every single hot Canadian artist is going to be there, and it's going to be Toronto in the summer where people are fucking not freezing anymore and they're super excited to be outside. That's pretty much all I
Wait, so is it a outside festival type thing? Oh, okay, that's dope. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of like in-house like stadium venues where like you're sitting on the chair and stuff.
Right, no, this is like a festival. From what I've been told, it's like a festival. And I think, and I'm sure like everything that has a 2020 year to it is going to be, they feel like they have to put on a fucking super show. But I mean, that is going to be in Canada, man. So they're like, speaking of fucking like overseas, so I mean, obviously Canada is super easy for us to get to, but it's pretty wild what's been happening with this ASAP Rocky fucking thing in Sweden, right?
Yep. I mean, the more and more I hear about it, it almost becomes like a movie. I still can't believe like what's going on. But I mean, I'm sure he regrets it more than I do, but regret the fact that he actually touched the dude as opposed to the security. Because then would have just been the security who's in jail, and I doubt it would even be a story at this point.
Yeah,
but damn, they would have locked that dude's ass up forever though if it was just security.
Right. Yeah, I think Rocky's gonna get out at some point. Obviously, Lord willing, it's in the next week or so. But yeah, dude, that's wild, man. Because like, I feel like you don't think about that shit. Obviously, the artists, they travel all over the world at all times. But you forget when you get in like the habit of doing like a certain thing. I'm gonna go to my show, then I'm gonna go pop off. But it's like, yo, you're now in different country with different laws. So like, I just think about us, like going back to the whole festival talk, like, dude, I don't know about feeling so comfortable popping certain things in my system in a different country, and then I get caught, and now what? Like, like now
it's
sucked.
Right. Like even in Mexico, it was actually a friend's bachelor party, and like we obviously had like some Coronas on us in the little party van and stuff, but in LA, it obviously wouldn't turn out well, but over there, like, they'll basically force you to pay them like $100 just to like let you go.
Right.
And I think people assume that they can go to these countries and behave the same way they do back home, but you can end up in a lot of trouble just for the most simple thing, or end up paying a lot of money just for bribery, basically, when you least expect it. And then you're screwed because, like, you don't know what they might claim you did or say you did and lock you up for no reason. And you're not going to have Kanye and Kim calling up Trump to save you either. So
there's going to be no Trumpito looking out for you. So yeah, that's wild, man. So obviously hope ASAP is freed as soon as fucking possible. But that shit is crazy, and obviously again, things we need to think about when we go overseas and try to wild out, because laws are fucking different. And I think sometimes we assume because we're American. I mean, I know when I travel, I fucking pull out that American passport, it's like, oh yes sir, go along. You know what I mean? So I think we have that like inherent bias that everything's gonna be fucking golden for us overseas, and it's like, it's not really the case every time.
Right. And sometimes it is a disadvantage. Like when they know you're American, they might want to fuck with you even more. So
for sure. Like, I mean, obviously, like, I'm sure you read like all this shit happening in Dominican Republic, right? Over the past like 3 months, like every other day someone's being killed or some shit. Like,
what did someone do? They put like some crazy chemical in the vents or something?
In the water, in the beer. Like, yo, I never heard of this shit as a Dominican male.
That's wild.
I know when I go to DR, my family always tells me to keep speaking Spanish the entire time. So I guess this is why, and they didn't tell me this is why. I thought I had to do because they don't want us to get ripped off. I know because they don't want us to get killed. But hey, I mean, dude, just fucking act right wherever you are. But obviously hoping our boy ASAP is out as soon as possible. I mean, dude, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about as far as festival talk, man. How do you, anything else you want to touch up on?
Not really. Just looking forward to more concerts. I think like the past few years I've done a lot of shows. Just because, I mean, one, we're getting older, and two, I think there's a lot of good artists who unfortunately may not be around or as popular or whatever. So I've been making a conscious effort to attend as many as possible. I consider it a good investment for my money, at least.
Yeah, dude, because you're gonna get that $300 back you spent on that ticket. You're never gonna get those fucking memories back. Like, dude,
right.
Bro, I know for a fact, I remember the faces we both made when fucking Kanye jumped out on stage during Cuddy's set. We were like, what?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
It was wild.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, honestly, I think the biggest one for me moving forward is probably gonna be OVO Fest. Knock that out. Because that way we can knock out Drake. You know what I mean? Like, he's probably gonna have a crazy set. And
like literally knock him out and end up on TMC.
No. I don't knock out other light-skinned people, but but it'll just be cool. Like, great. I'm sure it's probably gonna be his best show because he's gonna want to put on a show for his hometown. So that'll be super dope. And then as far as the show, man, like audio theory, like what do you want the people to know as far as what we're striving to do, you know, on the next few episodes?
I mean, I think we just want to give you guys good content and talk about current events, but also you know, our musical tastes and some of the projects that we found most exciting and fun to listen to over the past couple years, and just give you guys our take on the culture, where it's headed, where it used to be, and what we wish it was like or wish it wasn't like. And you guys can, subscribe and give your feedback as well in the comment section. Hit the notification bell, smash the like button, all that fancy shit that these other YouTubers keep saying. And also give us suggestions on what we should talk about. Yeah, please share. Yeah, man. Keep posted. We got good content on the way.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. Audio Theory's been great catching up with you, my dude. Again, we're gonna keep doing this. Again, hopefully we're sitting in the same spot a year from now when we both quit our jobs, and this is one of our full-time gigs. And we're giving the people quality content. We're bringing on quality guests that share some of our point of views and differ with us. And and we're fucking doing a live Audio Theory episode 215 from Coachella campground. That'd be fucking sick. So
sure.
That's the 5-year plan, but obviously check in next week and we'll figure out what we're talking about then.